It has now been well over a week since Nintendo released its infamous software update 12.0.3, and there are still many problems out there that Switch users are experiencing, so we have to talk about what to do if you're in that scenario and when we might see a potential fix. And then the other thing we're covering today is how Nintendo has officially walked away as the winner of E3 2021. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, the first thing we're talking about today, guys, is Nintendo's 12.0.3 system update that has been out for well over a week, and you may recall this update as it was originally released on the shop, and then you could download it and update your Switch, and then it was immediately pulled down like the next morning after it went live with no path to actually get that upgrade. Then it went back on to being available roughly about a day after it was pulled. So this did affect a lot of users, but the big problem is whenever Nintendo actually re-uploaded it to supposedly fix the issue that it was pulled for, which is a error download code that you get whenever you try to download things from the eShop. And I think something specifically around the SD card is what triggers this for certain users and not others. But it has been well over a week, and we have not seen any real improvement in this update, as multiple people are still reporting issues and not being able to download things from the eShop with no fix in sight from Nintendo. So first I want to hop over to Nintendo Life where we'll read through a quick article about what's going on, and then also maybe what you can do if you're in this scenario and when we can hopefully expect to hear from Nintendo around this issue. Switch error code 2123-1502, users still waiting on fix for update 12.0.3 issues. Update, as several of you have written to tell us, the issues relating to the Switch firmware 12.0.3 have not been resolved almost a week after the company restarted distribution of its latest update. The article then continues to cover multiple tweets from different users that are screenshotting this issue to Nintendo and requesting support, and Nintendo has not responded at this point in time with any potential resolution or steps to do. So this is a strange spot for Nintendo to be in, because they're typically not ones to have issues with system updates. If you guys recall, this is actually the first system software update we have actually ever seen them go ahead and pull off of the online database after it went live. So this is kind of uncharted territories for Nintendo, but whatever they're trying to fix here, that actually caused more problems, and now they don't have a solution for that problem. So if you're in this scenario, there is really not a fix at this point in time. It is a wait and see type of deal here, and I'm really surprised that Nintendo hasn't at least updated any fans around this. But I do want to know from you guys if you did download this latest system software update, if you're experiencing issues. And then I also wanted to cover this story briefly for people who haven't updated, to maybe warn them to not do so, as it does look like this is widespread enough that it's affecting a lot of Switch owners, and it's specifically tied to downloading things from the eShop onto your Switch, and it does not go through due to this error code that is popping up. So it appears that once you get this error code and this issue, at this point in time, there's really nothing you can do other than to wait, because there has even been reports of people tweeting at Nintendo saying they have totally factory restarted their Switch, they've pulled off all their data and information and then re-downloaded it from the cloud, and they've still had that same issue. So just a warning to anybody out there who hasn't updated their system to maybe not do it yet, and let's wait and see what Nintendo has to hopefully fix this issue soon around the corner. And then the other thing we got to talk about today is E3 viewership results, as they are now in, and Nintendo is the definitive winner, as during their presentation at their E3 live event between platforms like Twitch and YouTube, they hit a peak viewership of 3.1 million viewers all concurrently at the same time on the stream, which is a huge deal, and that just speaks to the volume of how much success Nintendo is seeing with their Switch brand, and how even with these next gen consoles on the market, that the Switch is continuing to outsell them in most regions of the world, and it's pretty crazy to see. Now, Microsoft obviously was the second place winner when it comes to total viewership at 2.3 million. Then you had Ubisoft at 1.4, Square Enix at 1.3, and Devolver at 1.1. But guys, it's a landslide win for Nintendo when it comes to total viewers. And while maybe not everybody enjoyed the E3 presentation the way that I did absolutely love it. The only thing that was obviously missing for me was Zelda's 35th anniversary with the True Up celebration, and I have various other videos covering that, so make sure you look on the channel and check out my other video where I am discussing more of my disappointment around the lack of Legend of Zelda 35th. But guys, if you look at the total titles that Nintendo announced in one 38-minute direct, it is pretty outstanding. And they even put out an infographic with all of the different games that were announced, and when you scroll through and look at this thing, it really is incredible the kind of momentum that Nintendo has right now in as far as their software and hardware when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. And the one thing that we're still really awaiting on is the future of what the Switch might hold, because I think even though it's so successful right now, if Nintendo were to drop something like a Switch Pro at this point in time and say that they have 4K dock support, I think it only takes it to the next level. And we're very quickly going to be talking about this becoming potentially the best-selling console of all time, as it is trending to potentially be a competitor to the PlayStation 2, which, if you guys don't know, is like in uncharted territory for lifetime console sales. So we'll keep an eye on what Nintendo has up their sleeves for around the corner, but it was very reassuring to see Nintendo walk away with the crown as far as total viewership. And obviously, you know, if you think that they won the presentation based off which games were there or not, you know, that's up for debate. Microsoft had a fantastic presentation and they were definitely in place too for me. The one thing about them that I think I would give to Nintendo is the simple fact that Microsoft primarily showcased games that would be into 2022 and beyond, and so there wasn't a lot to get excited about in the upcoming months, whereas Nintendo did primarily focus on games that we can expect right around the corner or the rest of 2021, and then just a couple titles that bled into 2022, such as Breath of the Wild 2 being the big notable one, and the fact that we might have to wait longer than expected for that because it does not appear that it is close to completion, as they didn't say the beginning or the middle part of 2022. They said simply, we are aiming for a 2022 release. But all of that aside, I think Nintendo did a great E3 presentation. I think it definitely shows how many fans they have out there right now and the momentum of the company as a whole, which, remember, at the end of the day, guys, whether or not you saw everything you wanted from that direct or not, we're all gamers here, and Nintendo getting this kind of exposure as a brand is just a huge win at the end of the day, because it means more money for them to go into different titles that we want to see released. Metroid Dread is fantastic. It's a new installment in the Metroid 2D franchise. I mean, they had some big heavy hitters at the showcase, and this is all coming out of a pandemic year. So I think the picture only gets brighter from here, but I do think that this is really cool to see Nintendo walk away with a landslide victory at E3. But at this point in the video, guys, I want to know your opinions on everything we talked about today. Are you experiencing any issues with the Nintendo Switch system software update? Are you going to hold off on updating if you haven't already? And then how would you kind of grade Nintendo's Direct? I know I put out a poll where most of you said it was a B presentation, with quite a few voting A and C as well. And then we did have some D and F results, which I definitely don't think it deserves that. I do think they put together a good presentation. The big letdown for me, like I said, is the lack of Zelda 35th anniversary content, but let's hope that we still see Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and that kind of stuff later on down the line, as that does appear to still be a potential possibility. But guys, let me know what you thought of Nintendo's Direct overall, and if you think they deserved this victory in viewership or not. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.